more of a reality for artists to just make art and not do anything else. Yeah, it's like a metal roof out there.
And action!
Okay, you guys, you haven't seen each other in a while. You would be chatting a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know.
You can still sit here, Sam.
Whenever you're ready, rolling. Action.
So how's it going? Have you been busy?
It's been pretty hectic, you know. Some things coming up. How's everything?
Things are good.
Yeah. How's the show coming?
It's good. I feel really good about it. I'm excited for tonight.
Good, good.
What's new with you?
You can say the exact same thing.
I don't remember.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Action.
Have you been busy lately?
Yes. So much is going on.
Like what?
Trying to finish up these commission projects.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you. Also trying to work on some, start some new things for some shows coming up in the fall.
More of these kind of work?
Actually, whole new works, going more relating to my exhibition with Patrick Kelly, as you were helping with before.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. So this is pretty much the finale of what I've been working on for the past couple of years, and what you've kind of assisted me working on in the past. This is kind of the final products of the series.
Why do you think these are the last ones?
I always say that they are.
Yeah, no, you keep saying that.
Yeah, my goal is always for things to not go too far. It's always interesting to see, like, stop it right when it's good, So but these particular ones are commission, private collection commission. So sometimes you make work that just it goes beyond you, and it just becomes like such an inspiration to other people, and you just feel more compelled to make it just to make people happy, if the work is about making people happy. But there's a certain excitement that you get when you kind of just start working on something. And because I do so many things, it's almost like I'm always ready for the next thing, But, drawing is such, it's so relaxing when you're doing this type of work. Or just moving the paint across a surface is just so relaxing, as you know.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I can and do paint for hours at a time.
And it feels good. But then it has also a very, feeling of being isolated. And sometimes you need to do other things to kind of get out of your comfort zone,
How do you decide what images to paint each time? Can you could take a step in too, because we're just filming our conversation, so you don't have to be so far.
How do you decide what images to work on next?
I write things down. I kind of write things down based on what I want to see. I always ask myself, what do you want to see? And then I think about what I want to see, and that becomes like the subject matter for making the work versus what's out there. A lot of times people think about, or may think about, I don't know, but sometimes people are interested in what is maybe popular or what is acceptable within the conversation, even if it's political in some ways. Politics also has a place of trend culture within art, but I think it's another thing to say when you look around in the world and say, what do I not see as much in the world, or what do I want to see in the world? And so for me, I think, just making works like these, or works that kind of express a sense of visual variety, is always good. And so
something I've been thinking about a lot is, who is my audience?
Yeah.
Who am I painting for? Because I'm very much painting for the people that who I'm painting, the subjects of
my work. Yeah, totally. No, I feel like that. I mean, I think about audience when I'm making work, and the audience changes based on the context of the work and where it's shown, and who, what location, country, or even neighborhood. So it can vary, but I think that some certain subject matters are just transferable based on how it's done.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
One thing I think about that's interesting is that you both. I think it might be interesting for you to talk about the idea of painting African American people at leisure and enjoying leisure time. And I think the intersection, or a place where your work overlaps, is that he's painting positive images of people who have had very tough lives, and your palettes are both.
Okay. So for me, I've always been interested in capturing aspects of African American culture in a way that is not necessarily popularized in art or in just media. And so these particular works in this series, which I call Culture Club, which kind of come from this idea of leisure. And I started making these works more so because I started thinking about images as an artist, as a black person. What do I see in exhibition spaces and museums when it comes to depicting the life of black people? And what I noticed is that there were not a lot of images of black people in leisure or black people at rest or doing mundane things that most people have the privilege of doing. And I realized that although it's not a lot of art about it, there is a lot of participation in it. And so I started to think about how can I capture what I see in the world within my culture, and with the idea of a version of American culture that I think is important. And so these kind of came out of that. And so I started kind of like painting these images of people on floats and pool floats, and kind of also kind of capturing this idea of leisure, but also of playfulness, and also thinking about the traditional portrait and how to capture the traditional portrait in a way that's contemporary and fresh, and also multi-generational. And so that kind of became the beginning of this particular series of work. But all of my work still, just one of the common things that kind of go through my work is really thinking about leisure and thinking about pleasure and family and things that are very familiar to me, and things that I participate in as a person more than just an artist. And as an artist, having the ability to put those things in the world and have other generations in the future look at the work and kind of see this as a norm. And
I think about the same thing. I think about a young person looking at my work and offering them a potential of what could be.
Yeah.
Like the idea of what they could aspire to.
Yeah.
And a lot of art focuses on the reality of the world.
Yeah.
But I focus on pain narratives, which I'm not interested in. At least in art.
Well, you capture people in a certain reality. I mean, it's a reality. I think that people, even people who have strife and challenges, still have moments of joy and family. So I think that we, just as individuals, when we think about capturing like working class people or people who of color, we always think about joy as being an alternative for the subject or the narrative, but the alternative is not really an alternative. It's just another complex layer of who they are and what they do. So it's not really even depicting a fantasy of them. It's really talking about what people overall aren't shown in, when you look at images of people. They aren't really shown like when they're laughing, or when they're just hanging out with their friends, or when they're doing things that are just so-called normal activities.
Right.
And so I think when I look at your work, it's really more about that relationship. Not that it's not real, but it's so left out that it feels like you're adding something that seems fantastical.
I agree.
But it's not,
And the thing about it that I found is that since I've been painting in such a way that is like celebratory and fun, like those moments have increased in my life. Like life imitates art.
Yes.
So I agree with you. Like I'm painting real moments that are really joyful and in doing so, it's only created more of those.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think that, you know, when you think about politics and the world and everything that's going on, and you come back to your studio, you have the option of kind of bringing that into your studio and bringing that into your private space, into your emotional space, and kind of giving that problem a voice.
Yeah.
Or you can think about the role of an artist in other ways, which also create alternative ways of looking at society and looking at the world, and also showing people elements of the world that they are not necessarily being exposed to because of being bombarded with all the other things that are happening in the world. So I think that it's definitely a choice for artists to make. And and looking at your work and talking to you about your work, it seems that you have kind of very personal relationship with the subject. And I think that's really important, to think about the subject as an actual person, a being, someone who has something to give you as well as you giving them or interpreting them. So,
were you always? Did you?
Hold on.
Your show right now. That's up. Your thesis show that's opening tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm really proud of what I've done, and I feel like when you walk into the gallery space, it like sets a tone that's joyful and celebratory, and the people represented seem dignified, which I'm proud of. Like, I have very little experience. I'm a new painter, relatively. Of your thesis show.
I remember at Columbia, thesis show was really overwhelming because when I was at Columbia, we had to build our space before we hung the work.
They didn't give you a gallery space?
It was a raw space.
Uh-huh.
Every year the college would have to get a space in a location near the studio. It was really more about just preparing myself or being prepared for the real world.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of this show as being the show. I thought about being one of the shows.
I feel like it's very much practice.
Yes.
It's like, this is the first time I've done this. I'm going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Things are not going to go as I plan. Ready?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
What are these?
Some watercolors I've been really interested in.
These are
I started
awesome.
scanning images of my family photos. There's hundreds, and trying to translate them into these watercolor, right now sketches, but I would love to think about them as a new body of work at some point, large scale. But just a relaxing exercise of working on these and developing these has been really fun in between working on larger works.
These are so cool. I don't remember you ever working in watercolor before.
I have. Well, it's been a while. I think I started making smaller drawings before I started working large, just doing watercolor and working with like markers, water markers.
Uh-huh.
And these, which for me are more like just the beginning of something big, or just kind of getting ideas out, because these are more like photos that have been really interesting to think about as works. Thinking about your family and thinking about moments.
These are all people you know?
Yeah, these are all family members at different stages. Some people are, from birth to like adulthood. Some of my cousins and people like that. But it is interesting to see them and these images. You have family photos, but you never really think about the time and the fashion and the environment.
Yeah, I think a lot about like style and fashion when I'm picking what source material to work with.
Yeah.
And it being like a record of the moment.
Yeah. And I do normally when I'm making work that are more from contemporary images, but when you think about, or new images, but when you think about your childhood or your parents' childhood and you see images of them, and so it's like a whole other experience of like seeing a history that is not necessarily attached to like art history.
Yeah, exactly.
But could be looked at in the future as art history. That's what I like about that.
the work that you're making becomes art history.
Exactly.
And the things that you reference as an artist becomes historicized.
Exactly. That's what, and I think that, that's something to really think about now with art.
Yeah.
Because of the structure of being so formulated and so structured in a way that you really can just start drawing from just your experiences and figuring how to make these experiences accessible as formal objects, or at least ways of communicating very common experiences that we all have through images and family photos, and translating them into things that you think are important for people to see,
right?
Like moments in history that I think are legitimate moments that kind of join people together instead of separating them. But also it's always exciting for the figures or the subjects to see themselves translated from photos or really candid shots.
Have you shown these people?
No, not yet, but they would love if they saw that.
Yeah, is that moment important to you? Because it is for me, like when I depict someone.
You never know what they're going to say. Sometimes people say like, doesn't look like me, or...
A lot of the time.
Yeah, or, oh, my head's too big, or I don't like my... it's usually a person who's not an artist a little bit more concerned with looking more exact than people who are creative. But it's also interesting for them to get, to surprise you with, oh, I like how you rendered me. So it's, it's a vulnerable place for us as artists to depict certain people in a style of which we are more interested in versus a photorealistic image. But it also is an interesting way for people to kind of understand your thought process from seeing an image of them as a photo and then translate it to a painting.
Right.
Or just looking at them and drawing them, live or whatever.
Cameron, can you talk a little bit about working in watercolor and what you like about it or what's challenging?
Sure. I love working in watercolor because it kind of forces you to, it forces me at least to be a little bit more loose with my gesture, because you kind of have to surrender to the water.
Yeah.
And
be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of don't have a choice, or it's just easier to make that choice to be okay with what happens.
I feel like doing watercolor sometimes could be, starting out, it could be more like doing surgery, because every movement, it has an effect that could be detrimental to the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a little dramatic. But
No, that is true, but I just like to choose to not care about any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is true what you're saying.
I mean, but it's the consciousness that when you first started doing it, when you're doing a painting, you switch from that to that, you do have to shift gears, and that shifting gears is done through levels of letting go of things.
Yeah.
But working large with, these are small, but they would be larger in a finished product or finished work. And so...
Do you stretch paper?
No, I wouldn't stretch
paper. I think we can cut there.
Yeah.
So then we want you to obviously, Julie, shoot the other way so we can actually see what the...
Yeah, I just... So, whenever you're ready, if you could just grab it and then start looking at it. So grab the...
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Just to take a couple out. Perfect. Yeah, and just if you want to look at them, look down.
Okay.
The images from that.
It's really nice.
Which one's your favorite again?
The one you're holding.
This one?
And this one.
Yeah, I love this one too. I love his face.
Yeah, I love it.
I love the way you do faces. There's you're
I just want to give them a little something extra.
Well, it's just there's a relaxedness about it. It's they're not fussy. That's what I'm trying to say. Which is a good thing.
Yeah. I kind of want them to seem very much mood.
Yeah.
The mood I think is really important.
I wrestle with what we were just talking about, wanting it to look like
the person.
The person.
No, I only have that issue when you're doing I don't really do commission work, but that's one of the things that is one of the challenges. It's because
But I mean, I think about like we just said, the subject seeing it and then caring about how they look and
yeah, and that's the challenge. When you're just making it just to make it. I don't even tell.
like that.
I don't really tell subjects that I'm even doing a portrait of them. Sometimes the thing like, let me see it, you know, and then they have an idea of a painting based on like references that are usually not art related.
Yeah.
It's usually, you know.
And a lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know.
And
Maybe I should start drawing first because it does allow for like
yeah, draw first. Do like a nice thin pencil line.
like a looseness or just
It's almost like
freer way of
it
painting.
becomes like coloring.
And action.
What's going on back here? Cool.
Well, these are the fabrics right now. Ready?
Set up.
Okay, so Cam, if you would use this as a model to create some swatches with these fabrics. I'm trying to catalog these different types of fabric for the future.
Okay.
Just to keep a little more organization for the collages. So I've been cutting these swatches and kind of just assembling them kind of like as a database that I'm going to put in a book just to keep as a reference, getting organized, which is definitely necessary in a space like this where you have so many elements going on. This is nice. I like this.
You like polka dots?
I mean, you can't really do anything with this in the collage, but it's interesting.
Why not?
I guess you could, but you have to paint something black under it if you
Yeah.
want to capture this, or maybe that's not part of it. I don't know. I mean, with these materials, always it's experimenting.
Is this all the fabric you have? Is there more?
No, it's like all these bins
Oh my
here.
God.
They are pretty organized. They look great, and so that's the kind of the goal for everything is to kind of like get it just organized and get it together like that.
Nice.
You know,
Do you
it's
want
amazing.
to cutaways
Yeah,
of this?
it's gonna
If you just
yeah.
want to go for
I just
it.
want to go for
You
it.
just need one of each?
Yeah, just one of each. These right here are good.
Whoops.
Yeah. This. People give me fabric. A lot of this fabric comes from one of my friends. Like people call me and say I have like all this fabric that someone gave me or left. Do you want it? Can you use it?
Nice.
And so some things are usable. Some things are just visual.
Oh, that one's already cut.
Yes, never too many. It's good.
Oh, might as well
Yeah.
finish.
You know, it's so funny. Those decisions always make me laugh because they remind you of like, that's what real tailors use or something. I don't know.
Reminds me of
Yeah,
kindergarten.
these things kind of categorized now. And this is from the Mad Show. This fabric.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Yeah, this is like a heavy duty upholstery fabric.
Do you
which is
ever
amazing.
reuse, or once you use it, it's like...
I can't really reuse things because they so much become like part of the piece
Yeah.
and the language of the piece. But I decided to continue to keep using them to make some more drawings. I'm thinking that, you know, when I have downtime, I'll work on some. I don't know when I'm gonna have downtime. Just to visit a friend who's an artist there. But normally,
Funnily enough, I think I've met him.
oh yeah,
He was here,
Ibrahim, yes. I think he came here. Like, yeah, he came to visit. Yeah.
He had some sort of sculpture.
He's the directory. They made duplicates for the wall piece at Mad. So I have a whole roll of the directory here.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, it looks great.
Like, what I'm gonna do with it. It's great. Thinking about gluing it down would be great. But I'm always thinking like, how would you glue it down?
Do you
have the black paper?
Does like the person dictate what fabric you use?
Oh, for the commission thing.
No, like I mean
Or-
the people you represent.
Kinda sometimes, depending on it. It's really more about I kind of use the fabric as almost like a paint,
Mm-hmm.
compositionally speaking. If there's gonna be yellow going through it, I'll use like a fabric that has yellow going through it if I want to create like a movement with the color. Because I think the way these are painted, it's really about color that creates space thing, but I'm gonna do something. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Working within rather than struggling against.
Exactly. So I'm like, the fact that he did that to me warrants like some type of recognition
Yeah.
and exposure, acknowledgement of that.
Such a the show becomes then.
Whenever you're ready.
My mom says to start where you are.
Yeah,
Okay,
start where you are.
we're gonna tape
know?
now, so
Okay.
you can just do stuff with your hands.
Okay. So here we go. Some pens. This is always a fun part of the studio. The finished dish.
I like it like somewhere in the middle. Like starting is not most fun,
Yeah.
but when the ingredients start flowing.
Yeah, when you throw a new ingredient in, it makes things more exciting.
Yeah.
Like I think the fabric sometimes to
gotten that
me creates like a new ingredient when you see like a certain fabric that captures a certain aesthetic to the fabric pattern.
Did you ever paint in oil paint?
Yes.
But you don't now.
I don't know. Oil paint actually gets the way it adheres to things. The way it's more flexible, of course.
Yeah.
But I always got.
Why? I mean, first of all, you decided to
Okay.
bring him on board as an intern. What is it about him that made you think he was a
Okay.
good fit for you? And then also what you see in him as a mentor about his work.
I think we're gonna start.
Okay, I'm ready.
So today I'm basically starting this new work, which is from a different body of work that I recently started. So starting with gesso on the wood panel, which you can help me out with. We're just gonna stir this up, and I'll get a brush, and we can kind of start with that. I put a couple of layers on it already, but I think one more layer might be really good for it. And I'll get a brush.
Do you mind just grabbing that brush under? I'm
Okay.
sorry. I love all these moments.
Okay.
Action.
All right. So I think we can use this brush here. Be good for the panel. I think it's the one we've been using. I love gesso with body.
I don't know. Gesso's like my arch nemesis.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
just not fun at all.
I think that there's so many types of gesso which are.
I'm gonna paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, paint it up.
It's okay if I move the thing closer? The cart? How many coats of gesso do you do?
3. How about you?
I don't know. I like aspire to do 4 or 5, but sometimes I get sick of doing it.
Yeah, usually you do that and you sand it in between.
Yeah.
And I think I sanded it before this.
I do like a really, really flat, sleek surface.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I usually do that, but it's kind of interesting too, because sometimes when you're putting collage on stuff, it's almost like a waste of time.
Yeah, well, it's the same with oil paint. It covers it up.
It's like a waste of time making it too smooth if you're gonna be covering up most of the surface. But for me, it's more therapeutic just doing it because it relaxes me.
I've also taken the time to get the first few stages correct because things only get
Yes.
only devolve. Things don't get
No,
start
no.
off well as you can, and then
No, that's the most important part. Is just
Yeah.
take your time with it.
yeah.
Cool. Now you gotta go for it, I guess, right? Yeah, if you wanna go.
I like
My
wood
word.
too because it's
I like-
solid.
Yeah, I like the rigidness of working on wood.
Yeah, me too.
I like the option of drilling into it if you need to, or attaching something onto it. And canvas is really, you can do those things, but it has exciting.
Oh.
Is that the industrial designers are in that building?
Yeah, like the bottom floor is some sort of like engineering or architectural.
Yes, is that where the print shop is? No, right?
No, print shop is.
Yeah, Steuben is right on Willoughby, right? It's off of Willoughby.
Yeah.
I mean DeKalb, I'm sorry. Is it?
It's closer to Willoughby.
Oh, it's close to, I know exactly where it is. It's an engineering building.
And maybe just like one couple seconds of not talking and just looking, if
Okay.
you don't mind. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, you're gonna follow with you. Yeah, beautiful. That was great. We'll do that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
So tight. Okay, here we go. And yeah. Love it. So pretty. Awesome.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll. Okay.
Cool.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So how did the internship come about with Cameron?
Well, I got a call from one of my good friends who happened to be Cameron's professor at the time, Jean Chen. And she told me she had a student she think would be perfect to work with me as an intern as part of the course Cameron was taking. And so Cameron started immediately after she contacted me, and we kind of began like our, I guess, work relationship at that time, beginning of semester, and then it kind of went on past the semester into more of a paid position. It's helping me out in the studio, but it started out initially just here working through the program at Pratt and kind of getting to know each other, getting to know, it's very important for me when people come in my studio to help me out, to know what their aspirations are and what their work looks like, and some of the things that are of interest to them beyond my own personal interests and goals in the studio, which is to get these works out and just to, produce projects. It's really important for me also to know like the goals of people who are working with me and helping me out in the studio, and also figuring out how I could be helpful to them in ways that will benefit their experience of being here with me and outside of working with me, going into the world, into the art world, because we're the only people who have a world of its own. Like, no one says like, they said the medical field, but they don't say the medical world. But the art world is like one of the things that people say, we have our own world. But working with Cameron has been great. I mean, it's a studio practice is really about working with people who are intuitive for me and who can kind of understand the vision of the person who is trying to accomplish the goal, which myself is, who happens to be the head of the studio. But having someone who can come in and kind of like take up where I'm starting to help put things in motion. So Cameron's been really great with that, and really just interesting to talk to. Passionate young artists, which I think helps a lot in the studio when you have people who are passionate about what they're doing. It makes things flow much more fun and a lot more just more focused in the studio. So Cameron's been working with me probably almost about a year off and on now, and now he's about to graduate, which is awesome.
And have you've had the opportunity to see his work?
Yes.
Here's people. Okay.
Yes, I have come to Cameron's studio a couple of times just to have one-on-one studio visits, just on our own, just to get to know what he's doing and for us to talk, and it's just more of a wait a minute, wait, is someone coming in?
Yeah. Sorry. Hi.
Oh, it's Anthony. Anthony's
Hi,
coming
Anthony.
in. Yeah, come on, Anthony. Come on in.
Hi.
It's okay. Come on in. Who are you talking to?
The speaker.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in. You didn't know we were doing this.
I did not.
Sorry, I
No,
just.
Anthony's working with me now.
So if you could talk about, as someone who you do a lot of teaching, what is it about Cameron's work that you find to be very striking and, you know, what has been interesting to you about what he's doing?
I mean, similar to myself in the way I make work, I appreciate Cameron's approach to art making and to capturing the subjects in which he feel are relevant and are important for people to see in a certain way through art and through the visual art canon as high art, you know, because painting is I think is perceived as being a high art practice. To have a show in a museum or gallery showing subject matter that you feel is important and people should see was one of the things that I liked about Cameron's work, because he felt really strongly about capturing people that reflected his life, where he's from, and people that he's had some personal connection with in the urban space in Florida, and much like I think about my work, I'm interested in capturing people that I'm familiar with and people I have somewhat of a relationship with, and people that I also think are important to capture and should be shown in museums and galleries. And the subject matter, I think, is filling the void of what I've seen or what I have not seen in the art world. So looking at his work, we automatically had that type of relationship to seeing those two common necessities with what he's doing, which is very different in certain ways of what I'm doing, but it's also very much relatable in the motivation for doing it and feeling the necessity for it. And I think that I, from first glance, realized was a conversation that we'll be having probably in the future, you know, as artists, more so than an employer versus an employee, but more as peers. I think that is something that we've seemed to agree on in the beginning.
And talk just a little bit more about the motivation when you were saying the motivation behind he's doing what you're doing.
Well, the motivation in which his work, the subject in his work, are from people who are in his surroundings, who are from a particular economic status, a certain social class, which for the most part is complicated. And I think with my work also speaks of people who are at a particular social class and social standing and economic structure. And I think what is similar about our works that is that we've been able to focus on our personal relationship with them, which is a relationship of joy and perseverance and longevity, and also reflecting more on the human condition more than what is projected onto us through media or these things that are not necessarily related to how we see people and how we interact with people and how people interact with us. And so my work, which really focuses on the Black American experience and leisure, Cameron's work, I believe kind of captures a certain element of joy within his community and depicting people also of African American descent as well as others who he has some relationship with. And to me, as an artist, it's not always about being an artist and being in a conversation, a dialogue with another artist, but it's also what really joins a lot of artists on another level of closeness and admiration is what you make, who you make it of, who's the subject, and what's the conversation. And I think that has been another level of our now friendship that kind of came out of this understanding of what is necessary for people to see, or what we feel is necessary for people to see, beyond what is out there.
And just what does it mean for you to Cameron sees you as a mentor? What is that? personally, how do you feel
Um,
about that?
saying it, believing myself to be a mentor is always like a very humbling experience because it brings a lot of responsibility. But it's really more about, when you think about what is a mentor, is a person who's doing. And for me, it's really about doing, putting words into action. And if that is something that makes you more suitable to be a mentor, I guess that's good. But it's really more about, I think, even teaching. One of the things that I always felt as a role of teaching is also doing outside of teaching. And I think that, when you're an artist and you're making work and you're showing work and you're talking about work and you're engaging in a continuous conversation about the importance of art, then a lot of people you're going to come in contact with who are going to have certain types of impressions on you, which are positive, and as well as you on them. And I think that I'm also being mentored as I'm mentoring, So I think it just goes into a cycle. There's artists who I think are my mentors, and I call on them when I need advice for things, when I'm thinking about, because you have different levels in your career as an artist as you kind of evolve into this, whatever this is, and you have these options and challenges that you would need to kind of refer to someone else, or at least have a conversation with someone about like what to do, and so I think that the mentoring cycle is ongoing through various stages in your career, from Cameron to myself, from me to other artists who I consider a mentor. And also, the idea of mentor could just be virtual sometimes, I think some people think of some artists they've never actually really physically come in contact with, but have kind of looked at them through their writing or their interviews or things like that, and consider them more of a mentor or some sort of guidance person through their life and their journey as a creative person.
So I'm wondering if you could just very concisely as possible say, if someone said to you who has not seen Cameron's work, how would you describe his work and what do you like about it?
How would I describe it?
Well, I mean, in terms of what's striking about it, maybe more in terms of like technically and palette and combined with the subject matter.
Okay. Well, what has left an impression on me about Cameron's work is definitely the quality and the painting skill of his work. I think that as an artist, we have, most of our work is, most successful work are based on form and content. And I think formally, his work has a certain level of provocativeness that encourages you to want to know what it's about and who it is about. And I think that, for me, is a recipe for any successful artist, when you're able to merge those two things together successfully, where you see the subject and you're interested in what it's about based on the visualness of it, the way it's been executed, the way that the artist has taken a certain level of care in presenting this image or this subject to the world. And with that care and appreciation, it becomes more of a curiosity to the viewer to want to know more. Because we live in a visual culture where things are based on surface. And if the surface is captured in a way that shows a certain level of dedication and love and consideration, then I think people are encouraged to investigate more. And I think when I saw Cameron's work, after working with me here, because I didn't see his work before he was working with me here, I started to realize, as an artist who has other artists working for you, that's kind of the perfect model to have someone helping you, someone who puts the care into their work to bring that kind of care into your studio, and to kind of extend that beyond their practice to understand what I'm trying to capture in my studio, and to help me accomplish it through various tasks in the studio. So when you see someone's work, mainly with Cameron's work, you start to understand certain artists and what they're capable of doing for themselves, and also, in this instance, as an intern, bringing over to you and adding to what you're doing instead of taking away. So the painting quality is something very much very much a part of the reason why I've come to continue to work with Cameron and to look at his work as a representation of success as a young artist, and I'm excited to see the exhibition tonight.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Wow.
Wasn't that nice? Very nice. That was perfect. Thank you.
Room tone for 15 seconds,
Yeah.
just quiet.
Before we do you have any questions?
Oh,
Anything we
that's
haven't
a
covered?
fun
Excellent.
thing.
Sure. She's an artist too, so
I
anything.
was thinking. No, I think what
Okay.
you
We
said was
there's so many
beautiful.
great.
Cool. What's next?
Just 10 seconds of quiet, just so for cutting.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
I feel pretty good.
We should then go to find food.
Okay.
You can take your
Okay. I love that. It's good. That's beautiful.
Should I move?
Yeah, and then you can walk by. Awesome. You got it. Yeah.
Should you take a shot of me dancing around and stuff?
That's it. Good. One more time, look back at it.
Do you want me to walk?
Yeah, and then walk away. Perfect. Just gonna do critical focus on your eyes. Okay, I'm set. Okay. Roll on.
So you want me to read this?
Yes, you can look at Suzanne and say, this is my artist statement.
This is my artist statement. In 2007, my family founded a nonprofit that helps homeless, unaccompanied youths. Because I grew up with this population of adolescents who live independently without their parent or guardian, I cherish the relationships that enrich my own life. Working from photographs, I paint portraits of my chosen family. With an energetic spirit, these paintings celebrate my diverse community. Attending to the features that make each subject unique, my work aims to equalize and humanize. The paintings document the prosperity of intimate connections, a wealth often undervalued in capitalist society.
That was great. Do you want to do it again?
Can I just have you do one more this is my artist statement, just like or I want to share, just so it's not just I want to share my artist statement or something, and then just the first line again, and I'm good.
Okay. I want to share with you my artist statement. In 2007, my family founded a nonprofit that helps homeless, unaccompanied youths.
Right, I think though, I want to share with you is.
No, I agree.
Sorry.
I agree. Just, I think you
Here is my artist statement?
Yeah, just do it how you had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here is my artist statement.
Can you do it again, just all to
Okay.
me?
Here is my artist statement.
One more time, you leaned up a little.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. I'm just gonna focus on your eyes. Okay, I'm good.
Here's my artist statement. In 2007, my family founded a nonprofit that helps homeless unaccompanied youths. Because I grew up with this population of adolescents who live independently without their parent or guardian, I cherish the relationships that enrich my own life. Should I read the last paragraph again? Because I messed it up.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can do the whole if you want.
Okay. In 2007, my family founded a nonprofit that helps homeless unaccompanied youth. Because I grew up with this population of adolescents who live independently without their parent or guardian, I cherish the relationships that enrich my own life. Working from photographs, I paint portraits of my chosen family. With an energetic spirit, these paintings celebrate my diverse community. Attending to features that make each subject unique, my work aims to equalize and humanize. The paintings document the prosperity of intimate connections, a wealth often undervalued in capitalist society.
That was great. I like the second read. Perfect.
Okay, so look at Suzanne
I'm gonna put this down so I don't make noise.
and just sort of pretend this, you're telling people who don't know what's going on here. What is this and how do you feel about it?
Okay. This is my MFA thesis exhibition. I've been in school for the past year and a half, and this is the culmination of the MFA program at Pratt. I'm feeling really excited because I have a handful of family and friends and peers that are coming, and I get to show them what I've been working on for the past 2 years.
So, is there a disconnect because you said a year and a half and 2 years?
Yeah, no. As I was saying it, I was like, why did I do that?
But
Okay.
otherwise, that was perfect.
You okay? So say it again.
Just Suzanne.
Oh, okay. Quiet on the set. Okay. What question did you ask me? You told me to say what we're doing and how I feel.
Yeah, what's going on here and how do you feel
Okay.
about it?
Yeah.
This is my MFA thesis exhibition. I've been at Pratt for the past year and a half as an MFA student in fine arts, and this shows the culmination of the work that I've been doing here. I'm really excited because I have a handful of family and friends that are coming to see what I've been working on for the past year and a half. I don't know why I paused, because I was like, I've said year and a half 7 times. Okay, one more time. This is my MFA thesis exhibition. It is the culmination of the work that I've been doing here as an MFA student at Pratt. I'm really excited because I have a handful of family and friends that are coming to see what I've been working on for the past year and a half, and I get to show them.
Good.
Very nice.
So do we want him to do, one thing is you did the second time you did the artist statement, it was good, but you didn't have the beginning. I think we're gonna probably have you on camera for the beginning. So would you mind?
Not at all. Yeah.
One more time and then I can do it. Did you hear from Cougar?
And a cut. I'm ready for you.
Okay. Here's my artist statement. In 2007, my family founded a nonprofit that helps homeless unaccompanied youth. Because I grew up with this population of adolescents who live independently without their parent or guardian, I cherish the relationships that enrich my own life. Working from photographs, I paint portraits of my chosen family. With an energetic spirit, these paintings celebrate my diverse community. Attending to features that make each subject unique, my work aims to equalize and humanize. The paintings document the prosperity of intimate connections, a wealth often undervalued in capitalist society.
And do you want to talk about your title?
Yeah.
Why you decided to call
You ready?
this project?
And just keep
Yeah.
your eye. Cool.
I'm gonna stare at you. Okay. The title of my show is Blessed and Highly Favored. The reason I chose that is it's a reference to my favorite writer, Bell Hooks. She's a feminist writer and cultural critic, and she jokes about how her sister likes to say that she is blessed and highly favored. And I think about it with reference to myself. The way I see the title working is that it's saying that I'm blessed and highly favored because of all of these people that enrich my life, which I'm showing through the paintings.
Love that.
Did I step on him in the very beginning?
I don't think, I didn't
I can
hear
do it again
that.
if you want.
Just the very top,
Yeah,
just in case, so that we don't get
Yeah.
repetitive.
Just the first line.
Options are good. I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it looks so much better.
Lots of venting going on. Okay. My show is titled Blessed and Highly Favored. It's a reference to my favorite. Okay. My show is titled.
Tap dancers. No, we're good. Okay.
My show is titled Blessed and Highly Favored. It's a reference to my favorite writer, Bell Hooks. She's a feminist writer and cultural critic, and she likes to joke that her sister says that she's blessed and highly favored. And I think about it in reference to myself. I think of the title as saying that I'm blessed and highly favored because of all of these people that enrich my life that I'm showing through the paintings.
Good. So could you, I'll also say that in addition to some members,
Sorry.
I want you to address who else is represented here, and then some of them maybe coming to and seeing their,
Like who I'm painting.
yeah.
Okay. I like to paint portraits of the people that are in my life. Some of them are the students from the nonprofit that my family runs, but I'm gonna start over. I like to paint portraits of the people that are in my life, people that I have real intimacy with. Some of them are students from the nonprofit that my family runs, but a lot of them are family and friends that I've met along the way, people that I would call close, and there was another part of your question that was kind of meandering.
No, I was just, and some of them are gonna see their portraits for the first time tonight.
Yeah, okay. Some of the people featured in this show that I've painted are going to be here tonight and see the work for the first time. And I really love that moment. That's really the moment that I am painting for someone to see me representing them, hopefully joyously and cheerfully.
Good.
That was really nice.
So maybe we should just call Cougar because.
No, he said he's on.
Let me just
Oh, okay.
grab room tone for like
Okay.
10, 15 seconds.
That was all great.
Good.
Okay. That was so negative. So much here.
It's true though. For the past 2 weeks, I've kind of just been like,
Yeah, me is kind of the opposite, and I'm kind of like going crazy. It looks good. I have the same space.
do you know what you're gonna do? Every time I would come in for a show, I would like, for someone else's, I'd be like, okay, this is what I'm thinking.
Like I'm thinking each time I come, it's like it's just a different way that I have in my mind. Now it looks good. Like last time I didn't like it.
Yeah, me too.
That cost him like $35 without the.
Shipping was extra. Definitely get her. She should be in it. Yeah, it is a beautiful shot. We probably met in passing, but I'm Cameron. Cameron. I know you're Gracie. Yeah, nice to meet you. You've been introduced. Yeah. Hello.
Just not like some people. Whoa. Okay. Act normal. Winning.
All you?
This is me.
Oh my god.
Take her in.
I'm blown away.
Bruce.
Do you know all these people?
Uh-huh. I only paint people I know.
What?
Then she's just laughing because you turn around and there's like a film crew.
I always knew Cameron and I would be the stars of the family.
You weren't wrong. You could do your oral presentation for the camera.
Yeah.
I have something to tell you, people. I mean, seriously, I really appreciate it. I know you're busy. And for this morning.
Oh,
Thank you.
of course, you're worth it. Hey, so we're going to do it. Walk in. Just walk in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Just be yourself.
Nice. This was new. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's great. How do you feel about it?
I feel good about all of it.
Yeah. So it's great.
In general, like, after a year and a half of being here, I feel like I'm making better work.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I could tell from when you first got here. You
Yeah.
can tell the difference. You loosened up a lot. You can see you have a little bit more confidence.
That's how I feel. I was just going to
Yeah.
say, I feel
Yeah.
calmer, more confident.
This
Yeah.
is beautiful right here.
Thanks.
Wow, this is nice. This is really awesome.
The show's right in front.
It's beautiful. This palette is really nice.
Thanks.
Is that original palette or just
What does that mean?
like the original color of the background of the photo or the image?
No.
Yeah. I like it.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Are you gonna stay here over the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I have a couple outstanding residency things. But
Oh.
I mean, I've heard a lot of no's and I probably won't get any.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So the plan is just to stick around, figure out how to
Yeah.
keep painting.
I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna check out the other smaller works.
I feel like I have a handle on the smaller size. The bigger size, I'm still working out.
On the east side, it's like 3 trains.
Oh, I didn't realize it was all the way up there.
24th Street. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
When you're the guest of honor, people have to wait.
One day I'll understand. Not yet.
You were saying you just work right on the paper.
Yeah, I don't draw. Although I might draw after our conversation
Yeah.
earlier today. But normally I just like going for it because I end up with like all of those moments,
Yeah.
which I like.
It'd be kind of cool though with pencil line through them too.
Yeah, I guess I
But then the
could.
pencil will be like the bleed. You know, I might create another type of like space.
Yeah.
You know. I love this right here. It almost looks like the stitching. It's like a nice happy accident. That's what watercolor to me is like.
Yeah.
Being okay with happy accidents.
Totally. Or like noticing them because there are more than people realize
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
It's like taking note of them.
And I think it teaches you to kind of loosen up a little bit and to be more like flexible
Yeah.
with the material.
Fluid.
Yeah. So I have to head out.
At a time.
Yeah, I know. I might even need you there, huh?
Can you guys redo that?
Okay. I'll take another. Thank you.
Congrats. Pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all
Yeah.
that you do because Cameron talks about you all
That was a pleasure.
the time.
I mean, it's a pleasure, as you know.
Yeah, we like
Be
him.
around. Yeah. So,
Yeah, we like him.
so you get a break and you get some time, relax time. Give me a call. Let's come by the studio or whatever. Good luck. Congratulations. Beautiful.
Thank
Working beautiful. That's my favorite, the purple one.
Thank you. It's a nice one.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
Later.
Bye.
Thanks,
See you guys.
nice meeting you.
Bye.
Realize it.
You know, what does that mean? She's like,
She's so proud of you.
but she wants me to be in the shade, not in the light?
No, she's opening the shade.
Oh, okay.
She's saying, take me to the gallery with you. She's saying, let's get going. So that's your...
That's the artist I work for.
And if you want to float to others, this is also where we had you over here, but start with that one.
He seems cool. I mean, I know he's cool. He's like,
He's just kind. Oh, thank you guys.
I can tell he cares about you because he wants to get to know us.
So cute.
No one would know.
No. Looks drier.
Can you come a little bit closer to it? Sorry. And then, Cameron, pull back and hanging there. It seems weird, but it looks
I'm really good at play.
Yeah.
Conversing. Or like fake conversing.
Did you have to do that today?
Yeah.
It's hard.
No, it's about just being present in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
You're good?
So did you show this to Victoria when you were home?
No, I haven't shown it to her yet.
She's gonna freak out. Can you just imagine
She's
what
gonna
she's gonna
steal
say?
it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna want it. I
Exactly.
hope that's the
No,
reaction
she'll
I
definitely
want.
want it. She's gonna not be able to sleep. You know how she gets. She's gonna be crazy about it.
It's funny because she asked me if I would do a painting of her, and I had already started it.
She did? I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
so cool.
It's freaky.
That's
Yeah.
really funny because one of the kids asked me, how do you get to get painted?
Oh, that's sad.
I know. And I was like, well, you have to have a relationship with Cam.
But I mean, I do with all of them.
Well, with some
The
more
new
than
ones
others.
come in, and
Yeah.
then you haven't met some of them.
Yeah.
And
A lot of it is a matter of like who I have a picture of. Like I had a picture of Julian.
Mhm.
that's my favorite.
Not one of mine. Only because I love the way his shirt, I love the way he's standing because that captures
Yeah, he's, like,
exactly who
cool.
he is. Yeah. He's too cool for school.
Although, but that's not true. He's silly.
He's cool. More so than silly. Mhm. He's really cool. I just love his whole look. He's awesome.
How's that feel?
I don't want to do this one. I hate this one because of.
Well, we don't have to. It's just getting some reactions, so.
I mean, it'll be B-roll anyway.
Yeah,
usually.
I actually just texted him happy birthday, and he just got married and had a baby and texted me his baby.
Yeah, you showed me.
I know.
It's cute.
I love it.
I wonder if he's seen it. I don't think he has.
I bet not. There'd be no,
You should text it to
no
him,
way
though.
for him to have seen
But
it.
it's definitely Dom's favorite.
Well, obviously.
She loves being the center of attention.
Yeah, she texted me today
Yeah.
and said that she's mad she's not here. But I think she also loves it because obviously she loves him.
She
Yeah.
does love him. It's one of her favorites.
She loves Gio.
Yeah.
I didn't know
His
that.
Yeah, they're BFFs.
his face is so.
She saved him.
So,
She did save him.
Until she couldn't.
so do they still converse?
Yeah.
Communicate?
Yeah.
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 She likes the boys. Those are
Definitely. Yeah.
her people.
Yeah. She's trying to save some.
These little marks. These.
Yeah, those are
Accents,
blue. That's
yeah.
underneath.
Oh, that's underneath?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I like his glasses because I think that they're so him. Like his face is totally him.
Well, all of them are so happy.
Yeah.
But the reason I liked him so much is that he was also like silly and
Dancing.
yeah, he didn't really care. I do too. I love those kind of moments that are like happy accidents.
But she is the more.
Oh.
Oh, Victoria?
Yeah.
But her face is definitely full.
Well, but it wasn't the quality of the painting. It was
I know, but that was never even acknowledged. That was my point.
That's good to be tough.
Hello to you. Thank you for coming.
Wait, what are you missing?
Hello.
Hey,
Thank you for coming.
you're welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Feeling good.
We have heard so much about you.
Because I was so upset when you were leaving. I was like, You know.
Yes. It's like I found someone who I feel like can critique my work for a while, and she's like, oh.
No. You're not, though. Yeah. Paper on countdown. Tonight I'll be like.
Maybe we will. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna figure it out.
Figure out how to have an art practice and eat. Because I kind of like eating. Yeah. So, I mean, you know. Thank you. I really appreciate it. She's maybe to call. Who? No, but that's funny because people think it looks like Carrie, but it's not Carrie. Everyone's like, "Is that Carrie?" It's like, no, but it's funny because like the person kind of looks like Carrie, but not really. But that does, I get it. Yeah, I was really good. Only with Mother Brody.
Let's get the little ones, the 50. So we'll use that when we go to the next room. Shall we grab the mic from him after this conversation? Yeah. I'm just gonna let this
I don't know when volleyball is. It's gonna be weird to like have
Hi, everyone. Okay, yeah.
Are we not looking at the camera either?
No, we're having a conversation.
Oh, okay.
Here you are, you're beautiful.
This is amazing.
Do you remember that moment?
I do. We were doing interpretive dance in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was like a sunny Sunday morning. I didn't expect to become, I don't know,
To be
Of course, you're a work of art.
immortalized.
This is really nice. I really like how you capture like the movement of the dance. Like we were really carrying.
Do you think I capture your essence?
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of spontaneity and fear and but also lightness.
Like, you can't predict what's coming, but you have sheer terror at all times. Hello.
How are you?
Thank you so much for coming.
See you.
Thank you. How are you? It's good.
It looks so good.
Thank you.
Is it like
Yeah. I was probably doing the smaller ones yourself.
Wait,
I mean, I think really
can
what
we
they
look
want.
at the camera or not?
They want you to talk about how it feels to be painted by me.
Oh, okay.
And ideally, you would be seeing it for the first time and they'd get your reaction, but that's not the case. But something to that regard without being inauthentic.
Okay.
Ready?
Sorry, what did we do wrong last time? Just
But the truth is, it'll probably end up being B-roll. So the
That
actual.
should be a little bit.
Okay.
We'll pick it up. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
okay.
just, and don't worry.
But there's no pressure,
Nobody
it's
gets it
fine.
right the first time. Don't
Okay,
worry.
no, I just wanted to have
Oh,
the
yeah,
feedback
yeah,
so we can
sure.
know how to do it
Yeah.
better.
Okay, I've been wanting to paint y'all for so long because y'all are my New York people.
I really love it.
And here you are.
It's incredible because in the moment we were just having so much fun. It was so free, and I think you really captured that. And I can see, I'm like transported back to that moment when we were just sort of having fun and
Thank
hanging
you.
out.
You take my directions very well. Stage directions.
I think what's really fun is that like this was originally meant to be a video, and like you managed to really capture the movement in it.
Thanks.
I really like how you used what's the medium that you use?
This is watercolor.
Yeah,
I took stills from that video and painted y'all from that.
I really like how you use like the color, like on the side of the bodies to like represent the movement.
Thanks.
It's like really nice.
Yeah, it's like a residue of where you were.
And also the fact that
Yeah,
like Kat
yeah.
is the blue and I'm the orange makes it like.
I think that perfectly captures our relationship too.
No, you would be the fiery one, if anything.
Ah.
But this is more your color.
Yeah,
Just in,
but there's like a sense of fire coming out of my hair, which I think is very.
yeah, your head's doing something.
No, it's doing something. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Truth, but it's not. But it's funny. The truth is, I much rather give stuff away to people that I love. I want them to have it.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
Eventually, you gotta think about that.
Don't do it for free.
But I think
I need you to manage me, coach me.
It's better if you just have them in the beginning, and then once you have like enough.
Well, there's like a balance of like giving it away to students and people, like because like I gave one to Derek, the artist I work for, and for him to have my work in his studio or whatever is more
We're
valuable
just talking to the
than
dean
selling it to
about
someone
he was
else.
talking about business side of it. When he brings that up to artists, they say, "What? What are you talking about?" Because they have no clue. Yeah, I know. he said it.
Welcome to the industry.
Yeah, we already have your business manager.
Yeah, they're upset I don't have an Instagram.
Yeah, we can do
You
this.
should. I mean, you got to promote your work.
It's also like good for Instagram, like just the movement stuff.
Well, the truth is I have an Instagram, but I don't use it.
It's not a professional one.
Well, I have one of that's just work.
Oh,
and
you
it does
do?
look really good.
But he doesn't tell me about it.
I don't know about this.
3 of them. I was like,
How many did you make?
too many.
I don't know.
2,000.
Oh, now I feel like, oh my gosh, I need to give it back.
No.
I can.
Already.
Yeah,
It's
I
already
can't
ripped.
give it back.
It's already been loved.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got to pay for it. I got to put my preference.
Any of us are going to miss this?
I'm so happy. Thank you. Here's my art. I'm like bewildered right now.
Wait,
What about Emily? I said, what about Emily?
And I was like,
She texted me today.
This is the thing for dinner, and she's like, sends me this really sad emoji. She's like, I don't get to come. I was like, oh,
But she was offered.
yeah.
I figured. She sent me a really nice text.
Hey, how are you?
You made this? Okay, so this one was Jaleesa, the pink one.
Kim
Dominique. I'm the worst. Hello. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you, man.
Welcome to my art.
Thank you for letting me see your art.
It's so funny that you're here of all
I
times.
know,
It's
random
really
timing.
bizarre.
How's your weekend
Super
been?
last minute too. Good, productive. I'm tired. This city's pretty exhausting.
Yeah. Think about living here.
I don't want to.
This one's he's alive. He just It's the crash.
Thank you for coming.
What? This is awesome.
Thanks.
Is this watercolor? How are these different?
That's watercolor crayon.
Shut up. What's that?
It's crayon that is water soluble. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. It looks awesome. It almost looks like it almost looks like a picture, but it's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that.
Have you seen the one that I did for Gary of Taylor?
Yeah, I love that one.
Me too.
So cool. You're so talented.
Thanks.
I love that Emilio.
Are these all your friends?
These are, friends, family, students from the nonprofit.
Yeah.
Do you know about this?
No, I do. I just got here. Hi. Hi.
Did you see Gary too? She'll be good. Yeah. Dominique, can I steal you?
Yes, of course.
Would you be willing for me to talk to you? Yeah. Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. It looks great. It's looking great.
Seeing this now for the first time today.
Yes, in
so
person.
to talk about just that kind of thing and have a little dialogue about how you feel about it and you just.
Yeah.
Where should I look? Just at the painting?
We're just having a convo.
Okay.
So you can look at the painting if you want.
Okay.
It's you!
Oh my god! I love this because this is the day that we did all the group photos with the kids, and it's still saved in my phone. It's the only pictures I'll keep in my work phone.
All of them, or this one specific?
All of them. No,
I love all
the
of
group
those.
photos.
All of those will be painted at some point because they're all so marvelous.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Gio, this is
You in particular,
my
and a lot of
baby.
them, just look so joyous. And obviously, I
Well, it
love
just
it 'cause-
creates, it just highlights the best time of the year for us because it's the end of the year and
everyone's
our
like
favorite time.
exhaled deeply.
Having the best time of our life.
And I love it because y'all were buddies.
Yeah.
Y'all are buddies.
We are buddies and we're still super close.
Yeah. Do you know if
And
he's seen
it's
it?
just so much love.
Do you know if he's seen
No,
it?
I don't think he has seen it. Maybe I'll send a Snapchat to him of it. Like, look where I am.
You should do it with you in front of it.
I just pose really dramatically. Who is that? Also, I really love that you captured my gap because that's the best part of me, I think. Next to my hair, of course.
All of it.
I'm just amazed.
Yay.
You did such a good job.
Thank you.
That one, is like Emilio and Raphael, are seriously, well, also, I adore them.
Yeah.
But
They're beautiful.
they're beautiful. We need to bring the kids here so they can see this.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Are they about to show up? Parade of cake.
That would be amazing, just a line of them walking in.
Everyone keeps asking, and I'm like, it doesn't
Yeah,
look
you were
that.
like, these are friends.
Well, no, everyone knows the whole spiel.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, at this point,
Okay.
I had to talk about it so many times. But they're like, are they coming, the students? And I'm like, well, that just wouldn't work.
We need to get them here, though. We need to, because Raphael would love.
Doesn't have to match anything that you said. We just want to have.
Right. So you just want me to say that again?
I'll prompt you.
Go for it.
I love this painting because I know y'all are so close, and
Yes, and I just love him. And obviously there's so much love in this painting. You can see it between us.
yeah, I hope so.
We just adored each other. We still do. Scene.
You've met your match. That's the infamous. This is the best part of you being here is y'all get to meet each other.
Completes the circle. Now, wait, who's the guy best friend?
Rutger.
No, it's you, Becca.
Oh, Ethan.
So Ethan's gonna be here. He's
No.
not gonna be here.
No. But you need to meet Brian,
Okay.
who's in the room, but don't look back.
Okay, I won't.
I forgot we're looking at the painting.
Right.
And I think that.
And you know what? That really.
Uh-huh.
And you know.
Can you do that?
Do you want to close?
Okay, cool.